Good morning and welcome to Morning Cup with Dr. C. So today we are talking all about self-care and what is the rave about self-care, because there is so much information, so much trends and movement around self-care. But it's important to recognize that self-care is not being selfish. That's number one, remembering that. The second thing is understanding that it is not time consuming. When we're doing it on a daily basis, it's something that just becomes part of our routine. And if you think it is time consuming, it's reframing that and looking at it in a different light, because it can be time consuming, but not in the way you think. The next point is being able to understand that it's not an indulgence. You don't just do it once and then be like, one and done, I'm done. I did my self-care for the year. It's doing it regardless of what you're feeling, but doing it to take care of yourself every single day. Which brings me to what self-care is. It's a discipline. When we're able to do it on a daily basis, if you look at going to the gym, you don't get abs the first day you go if you haven't gone in years or even months. It takes time. It's a discipline. It's waking up, just like brushing our teeth every day. We do that twice a day, 3 times a day, because it's a routine. It's discipline. It's to take care of our teeth. It's the same concept when we're doing self-care. It's those little things that we do on a daily basis to take care of ourselves. And it's so interesting because self-care was something that was really hard for me. And it's easier now because I do it. It's a discipline for me. But even with my clients on a clinical level, but also now professional, like as a coach, being able to understand how self-care can be so difficult for people who are more of the people pleasers. I'm definitely a former people pleaser, but being able to understand when we are just doing so much for everyone else and we forget about ourselves. So it's making it a discipline, self-care. So what is self-care? It's saying no. If you don't want to do something, saying no, of course, within reason, but being able to say no if there's something you really don't want to do or somewhere you really don't want to go, and you have that option, being true to yourself and saying no. And it's absolutely okay to say no. You can say no without an explanation, because no is a complete sentence. The next thing is being able to set boundaries. When we set boundaries, that is a form of self-care, because we are saying, I'm saying yes to myself, say no to whatever it is, or I'm putting in place a boundary to ensure that I'm taking care of myself, I'm understanding what I need, and being able to say that. So setting boundaries is so important. We're going to talk a lot about setting boundaries because it's something I love talking about. The next thing is being able to understand that it's important to create me time. So scheduling it in. So for me, if I don't write it down, it doesn't happen. And you might not be like that, but being able to really carve out time for yourself, even if it's just a few minutes a day, or it's a couple hours, or whatever it may be, whatever is realistic for you and your lifestyle. But it's really important that self-care is done on a daily basis, no matter what it is, just a little bit, a few minutes versus like a couple hours, a weekend, whatever it may be. But the biggest thing is doing it on a regular basis. It's not a one-time thing. Next thing is forgiving yourself. When you forgive yourself, it's recognizing that we're not perfect. I know I'm not, but being able to forgive yourself when you make mistakes, or especially in business, there's so much failure in the beginning, and just as you go too, it's expecting, okay, there's going to be sometimes mistakes, or someone's not going to catch something and you have to catch it, or whatever it may be. But remembering to forgive yourself and give yourself that self-compassion and understanding when you don't do something that is exactly how you wanted it to, or you made a mistake. It's just learning from that mistake and moving forward, not letting it keep you stuck. So the next thing is communicating and asking for what you need. This is huge. That's something that I had to learn a lot over the years. I've gotten much better, thank God. But being able to understand what you need. So once you know what you need, it's so much easier to communicate that. And you're not going to just be like, okay, well, I don't need to get this need met. You either get the need met or you don't. But the biggest thing is being able to communicate that effectively and clearly to the other person, whether it is in business, in your relationships, even to yourself. Like being able, first and foremost, okay, what do I need? Because at the end of the day, nobody is a mind reader. So it's really important to understand yourself first and foremost so you can ask for what you need. Because if you don't know what you need, how can you communicate that effectively? So it's really being able to dig in that area and understand that. And the next thing is being able to ask for help and delegate. This was a really hard one for me, and still sometimes a process, especially when you start hiring people in your business or you're just asking for help, whatever it may be. But when it comes to asking for help, that's showing a sign of strength, because it can be really difficult to ask for help. Sometimes you, like, especially being a former people pleaser, it was really hard for me to be like, oh, I need help on this, because I thought I could do it all or didn't want to be a burden on anyone. But I think that's the biggest thing to understand too when we're going through just tough times or needing extra help, being able to fully ask for that help. You might hear my dog in the background. But that's the one really important aspect. And the biggest thing is prioritizing yourself. When we are able to put ourselves first, we're able to have so much more to give to others. And I think that concept can be a little hard to digest, but it's understanding when we're asking ourselves, okay, what do I need to prioritize? It's ourselves first. When we put ourselves first, there is so much overflow because we are showing up as our best selves. And the last thing I'm going to leave you with is taking a step back. When you've said no or you're deciding on something, it's really important to just take a step back and looking at what do you need and understanding, okay, well, maybe I need to take a step back from work and I need somebody else to step in for this day so I can just regroup and refocus and because especially when you're working so hard, sometimes the creativity might not be flowing like it normally does, but it's being able to take that step back. So that's what the rave is, all about self-care, this trend, this movement, but it's something that I think is absolutely necessary. So I hope this was helpful. Let me know what you thought. If there's anything that I might have missed that you wanted to add in there, go ahead and comment below of what you do for self-care, what you think of self-care, because I would love to hear your definition. This is Dr. C with the Morning Cup, and I will see you very soon. Have a great rest of your day, and make sure to like, subscribe, and comment.